Welcome to the Sojourn Wealth Management Podcast. My name is Corey Akins. I'm here with my colleagues Jeff Bronner and Andrew Kraft. Today we have a special episode for you as we look back to the year 2025 and look ahead to the year 2026. So,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. On this New Year's special episode, good to be with you guys. How are y'all doing?
Doing well. Enjoying the first couple days of 2026.
Great to be with y'all. Yeah, it's interesting. This is the first full week of 2026, so it's like green light.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Absolutely. It's always hard when like the holiday falls in the middle of the week previous, and then you're like, all right, now all my New Year's goals need to start on Monday the 5th. You know?
That's right.
So, yeah, like I said, very fun episode. Not really diving into any specific investment or financial planning topics, but just want to look back at some of the things that we've done in 2025 and then look forward as we have a lot of exciting things coming forward. So with that, I'd like to kick it off. There were some things that we did last year that were pretty awesome, one of which was revolving around investment management and some curated things. So talk to me a little bit about what we implemented as far as an investment change kind of at the end of last year. Jeff, if you would.
Yeah. The big thing we launched was the Sojourn Wealth Portfolios, which is our own curated portfolio lineup ranging across the various risk tolerance spectrum. And it had been something, kind of a passion project that we had been working on and figuring out, hey, there's all of these different portfolio managers out there, but can we, construct something that meets our client needs more specifically? So we developed that through the course of the year. We spent a lot of hours kind of looking at different funds, vetting different funds, figuring out what works best, and then, looking at costs, expense ratios, things like that, and then performance in their asset class. And then kind of putting all that together and packaging it and then rolling it out for our 1-year anniversary at the end of October. So that was really exciting. A lot of work went into that. I think, Andrew, throughout your career, this has been something you've been passionate about.
Yeah, and just to point out, I think it's one thing that's really fun, I guess, is that at our previous employer, we were limited. Mm-hmm. And so once we went independent, this is kind of a product of our independence to be able to look out across the landscape and kind of find different investment managers and asset classes. And we've done a podcast on alternative asset classes, and so we're able to feather that into the pie chart, so to speak. So yeah, it's been a fun time.
You both kind of said what I think is really important is kind of the curated space, and you really can't go down the road and get the portfolio that we've put together because it is Sojourn's portfolio. You also mentioned just the constriction kind of lifting, and I think that is also true of the next thing that we did, which was implementing the Waypoint program. And talk to me a little bit about that, Andrew, and kind of the genesis behind it and all of those things.
Yeah, that's a great new service that we were able to roll out last year in order to take care and work with a lot of the clients that we had previously. And so I think specifically for people who perhaps are working and their only investments are their employer's retirement plan, they don't have an account, an account that we can manage. Sorry. I'm not getting choked up. I just have something.
We're really passionate about serving our clients. So
that's true. Yeah. However, and so it's like a subscription-based model, kind of like your Netflix or Amazon Prime. And so someone can participate and use our services. It's our financial consulting platform, and just we can be on hand for questions about debt, car, mortgage, whatever, or their employer plan, the different allocations and how that should be managed. Accounts for kids, whatever it is, they have a question relating to finance. We are on call and able to help them kind of navigate those different questions.
Yeah,
and a big part of how we constructed the Waypoint program is built around Andrew. We've talked about this in previous podcasts, but you've done a lot of work in analyzing, evaluating metrics of financial wellness. And so all of the things that we went into saying, hey, this is what we provide through this subscription model is centered around making sure that each area of financial wellness is satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah, great point, because a lot of folks who call themselves financial advisors will just simply want to get you to invest or buy insurance or do whatever. But it's important to kind of start with, like you said, this cornerstone of financial wellness, which is risk management, which often just simply means make sure you have a little bit of a shock absorber emergency fund in case something happens. And so that is an important part. The risk management, debt management, cash management, budgeting, all those things we kind of look at to make sure that folks do have a good sense of financial wellness now, so that they can enjoy a secure retirement later on.
I think it adds an element of objectivity too, right?
For sure.
You come in, you're working with somebody who may just be starting out their career as a teacher, right? And this gives them the ability to have objective advice from an outside source rather than, the 401k person or the life insurance guy or whoever it is.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we highlight on that Waypoint program is estate planning. And that was something that we implemented this past year. Now, that was not just you woke up one day, Andrew, and said, I want an estate planning solution. Talk to me a little bit about the history of that, what led you to that, and then how it worked out throughout the year.
Yeah, so as a component of this overall financial wellness, we want to make sure that people have their estate planning documents done. So their will, power of attorney, even people who have adult children, technically adult, maybe at college and they get into an accident, you want to make sure they have a power of attorney. And over the many years, we would find people who hadn't done that. We would refer them to attorneys, but for whatever reason, the cost or time, just kind of prohibitive, just didn't get done. And so year over year, we'd follow up. Have you done it? No. And so, now, again, as a product of independence, we have this estate planning solution. And so we can work with folks to help make sure that gets across the finish line. And it is, has been just such a great sigh of relief when clients finally have that done. They know things are taken care of. It's kind of on the shelf and it's finalized. And so that's been a great addition, I think, to the service we provide.
I don't know the particular data points on this, but it's one of the most commonly neglected elements of financial wellness is getting those documents taken care of. And so again, just like you're saying, Andrew, having that kind of in the back pocket and being able to provide that to clients has been hugely helpful for them.
Yeah. And dovetailing into that is also we hired a full-time client service associate who acts as the notary in that instance.
That's
right?
Yeah.
And so really kind of all in-house. You don't even have to go get it notarized anywhere else. You can do it all here. And I think Amy's been a big help as far as just helping our practice and implementing a lot of the operations that we want. I know you feel this way, but tell me your feelings about hiring Amy and what a blessing that's been.
Oh, fantastic. I think, and also kind of go back to your point of having it all in-house. I think that's been a great advantage to our clients is they can just kind of come here and take care of retirement and, discuss debt stuff, but then also, hey, estate planning solutions, we can help with that through our partnership. And then, Amy is right here to step in and notarize any kind of needed documents, but she's been a great addition. And so it's been nice to have someone here full-time, friendly face, welcoming people as they come in the door.
Absolutely. And she's done a great job just picking up on all of the different, things that we want to implement as a firm and just like-minded in the sense of like, we want to take care of the clients. We want to make sure that they have a positive experience. And that shows both in the operations and in the way just folks are greeted when they come in.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's been here just now 3 months, just over, I guess, 3 months. And a lot of the training has been done by our part-time assistant, Lydia, who's been with us for a while. And it's so important to have good people up front. And I just am constantly reminded that when I left, a lot of people would say, "Hey, it's great, Andrew, but did Lydia come with you?"
Yeah.
Like that was one of the first questions. So.
I think actually Lydia was joined you a week after I did in 2019. So been here a good while.
Yeah.
We've talked about the people in the front. Now let's talk about somebody that we had in the back this past summer. We hired an intern, somebody that Andrew knew very well. Marshall Kraft, your son, joined us over the summer. I hope he had a good time, but what was his reflection on that experience? And then tell me your all's reflection on that experience.
I think he would say it was good. I enjoyed having him here, and of course, I think he's a wonderful young man. He's a financial planning student, junior at Liberty University.
It's a rigorous interview process. Like you got to come live with me for the summer, and like.
That's right. There's 21 years of
vetting.
But I think it was a great just kind of introduction to the financial planning profession, and I think it was great to have him just around the two of y'all and see what goes on day in, day out. So
one of my favorite stories with Marshall is we were all in here having I think we were doing a review meeting or a planning meeting for a client or something to that effect. And one of us stood up and said, "Does anybody want a drink?" And Marshall immediately stood up and said, No, I'm the intern. I should get the drinks."
That's funny.
Yeah, great attitude.
Good-natured, humble guy.
Absolutely. So the last thing that we wanted to highlight really was from last year was that we started this podcast on April 1st, 2025.
This thing that we're doing now.
Yeah. So that was fun. I think we all had ideas of what it would be like. A little bit harder. I probably had more of a, like, you just line up and start talking. Not so much that, but what's been the experience on the podcast for both of you?
I think it's been helpful from a craft standpoint, because when you think about how to present information, in this format, you need to be concise. You need to be able to speak quickly, but with the level of expertise necessary. And that helps when you're going into a client meeting to be able to say, hey, this is how you boiled this down to bite-sized information. That's been kind of our goal with the podcast, is make it as accessible, but again, keeping it to that morning trip to work length. So that's been a good training exercise for me.
Yeah, for sure. And, we've kind of mentioned sometimes to clients that if they are to engage with us, that they need to trust us and like us. And a function of trusting us is realizing that we have experience. We have various designations. We've been in the profession. We know what we're doing, and then like us. And so I think the podcast kind of offers a little bit of both of that. Kind of shares a little bit about what we know, and then also they get to peel back the onion, so to speak.
Yeah,
know us a little more.
It's hard to listen to somebody and like you can trust somebody, but you got to like them too, right? And I think this adds an element of you kind of get maybe a little peek behind the veil as far as just personality, and that's good. The genesis, I think, though, behind the podcast, though, was really delivering what you said, Jeff, in short form kind of format. Somebody could be riding into work and they're listening to a 15-minute podcast that's covering alternative investments, and you don't leave that feeling overwhelmed. And I think that's valuable for clients. I think that, and just the general public at large, right, is the ability to get bite-sized information, not be overwhelmed by it, get the high points, and then have something in the arsenal as far as just understanding.
And even something not as, maybe specific as alternative investments, but just simply, I heard them talking about estate planning, and dadgum, I've got to get my will done.
Absolutely.
Or risk management. You know what? I don't have any term life insurance. I should look into that.
Yeah.
And so just kind of that catalyst to get people to action is, I think, another reason we wanted to get this thing going.
That's exactly right. So doing the podcast, been awesome. Some things that we wanted to just list out and kind of go over for the new year as we cast the vision. Adding to the podcast, I think we're going to implement video content. So no longer will you have to just listen to us if you don't want to. You can look at us while we do the podcast. So you can throw on YouTube and see our smiling faces. But I'm excited about that. How about y'all?
Yeah, I think it'll be a way to help people engage, just because some folks learn more easily, by watching than just listening. So I think it'll be a help.
There's so much subtle humor that goes into the expressions that we give each other that our listeners on the audio format just don't get.
Right now, you're missing out.
Good point.
Bring you into that. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be good. Another thing I'm looking forward to is we've done the estate planning, right? So we've added the estate planning solution in an effort to become even more of a one-stop shop as it relates to your financial planning, we are starting Sojourn Tax Services in 2026.
Yeah.
It's probably the area that we all get questions about the most as far as who does your taxes. And so, Andrew, talk to me a little bit about why, like your experience. I think it's valuable when I hear you talk about it. So I want to hear that.
Yeah. So over the years, people like you mentioned are always asking, do you have a reference to do taxes? And sometimes we'll send them places, but sometimes that connection isn't as fluid, or there's not as much agreement perhaps. And so we might be talking about a specific strategy, and the CPA might just not be familiar with it, and so they just kind of just close the gate, and it doesn't happen. And so I think in two benefits of just having this one stop shop, so to speak, where clients can come, they don't have to mess with getting all these forms and reports and things. If they have their accounts with us, we can easily access that with a shared information agreement. And then we have this partnership with the CPA that can help kind of navigate those tax strategies. And so I think it's just a way both just to ease the situation for the client, and also to kind of provide a better kind of seamless strategic implementation. So
I think it goes back to your point with the estate planning thing, that a lot of times folks, because it's so disjointed, they're going to all these different professionals to do these different things. This can kind of lag behind. So being able to provide that to folks. I was meeting with some clients and was talking to them, and estate planning came up, tax planning came up, and getting their taxes filed, and mentioning these different strategic partnerships, and then the portfolios that we've rolled out, and just everything that was accomplished and leading up to 2026. And they're like, you guys have been pretty busy this past year, haven't you? And
indeed,
that's certainly been the case.
Yeah, definitely busy. A good busy though, right? That as you look out and trying to accomplish these things, it's exciting. Another exciting thing that's on the horizon, hopefully, is new office space at some point over the next year as we continue to grow and want to expand, and have just a better overall experience for our clients too, right? That includes office space and those things. So what's that look like in the new year, Andrew?
Yeah, hopefully this does happen this year. I had some clients just leave yesterday, and they remarked on how we've been here in this office for several years, just under a new name, since we went independent. But we've been in this building for years and in this kind of area for a while. And so hopefully find a spot that's still kind of in the Cedar Bluff area, because it's so convenient to Oak Ridge, UT, Farragut, Maryville, wherever. But the idea is just simply we're growing. And when we have, all three of us here, clients coming in, both client service associates are here, possibly an intern again. It's pretty packed.
Yeah.
and so it'd be nice if we can find some office space. Hopefully, kind of summertime is the goal. So
yeah, it's a good time to move, right? Summertime.
It's warm,
Corey brings his truck.
That's right.
Full suits.
You mentioned a possible another intern, maybe. I think that would be great. I think that is something that you want to do, right? And just kind of working out the mechanics of it at this point.
Yeah, there are so many people. I mean, I even had a UT student reach out to me just to go grab coffee and talk about the profession. And I think with more and more universities and colleges providing that as an undergraduate degree, and then actually having their own, kind of educational components for different designations, there's just more and more people who want to get involved, and it's hard to, get into the profession. And so I think offering that just to let college students see what it's like can help them decide, but also just kind of provide hopefully some valuable experience.
Absolutely. That's a great segue, talking about undergrad and receiving certifications and things like that. That is something that in our office we also have a great hunger for is to continue growing in knowledge, continue growing in our profession, mastering the craft, so to speak. No pun intended. Jeff, you've got some exciting things coming up in the summer as far as designations go and things like that. So talk to me a little bit about what you've got on the horizon and all the fun stuff there.
Yeah. So pursuing my certified financial planning certification designation, and it's essentially like a year-long educational program. So I started it last March, kind of coming to completion with the coursework that you have to do. There's a number of different units that you have to go through.
Where was that coursework done?
So it is technically through the University of Texas.
Okay.
That is where I will be receiving the designation from, Lord willing, at completion. So my hope is to finish it in March. If I feel confident taking it in March, but more than likely I'll want to take a couple more months to study and just, knock it out in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of point out that not just this year-long education that you've been doing, but you have to have a certain number of years just simply working in the profession before you can even qualify to sit for the test, and then agree to a high level of ethics in your work. And so I think it's a great goal that you esteem too. And best wishes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can't just Google it and say, let me go take the test. It's incredible. Andrew, you were doing some work, possibly restarting the PhD program at some point. Is that?
It's. I would say it's. I'm not even sure if possible. It's. Yeah. So I started on the PhD at Kansas State, and so this has been joyfully busy starting this firm and trying to kind of feather back into that work might be difficult, but if it happens, it might happen this fall, but we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, I think just from an office culture, the commitment to continued education is really, really high, and we take it seriously. We want to offer expertise and knowledge and help that have a positive impact on our clients. So,
for sure,
we can't talk about the new year without, new year goals, right? So I want to hear some personal goals that you both have as we get into 2026, and tell me about those.
So I'm all about attainable goals.
Okay.
So my goal this year is to gain weight.
Okay. Okay. Any others?
No, kind of two big ones. We're evaluating our housing situation right now and just kind of exploring what the market looks like and the things of that nature. When we bought this house, we had Thomas. We bought it in 2022. He was a couple months old. And then a couple years after that, 2024, we had twins. And so we started to fill up this home rather quickly, and very thankful for that. Huge blessing. But it's a little cramped. And so
twins have that effect.
Yeah.
And so he's about to ask to use your truck.
Yes, that gets me to my next point. So that's a big kind of just family kind of evaluation that we have. So I don't know if we're going to necessarily move. Maybe we add an addition or do something like that. But that's kind of something that by the end of the year, we want to have clarity or have made a decision on. And then more personally, Paige and I, since we had the twins, we had a good pattern of reading through the Bible in a year. And then we had twins. It's just life demands and all the different things. We kind of fell off that track a little bit. So we want to try to do that in completion this year for 2026 as well.
Okay. Praise the Lord. Amen.
Fantastic.
Andrew? Yeah. Personal goals?
So some reading goals. So I have a bad habit of starting a lot of books. And so I probably have 5 different books going on right now. So I would like to finish some of those. My youngest wants me to start reading The Lord of the Rings, but I told him, I was like, well, I saw the movies. And of course he took great affront. So he thinks I'm not a real fan because of that. But yeah, so like right now I'm reading the first volume of Winston Churchill's History of the Second World War, and it's really interesting, but it's pretty pretty thick. And so my goal is to finish that and his second one this year. So 2 this year, and then I've got a few others kind of lingering that kind of wrap up. So that's kind of on the reading, reading front. I also started a different approach to studying the Word when our church was going through a book. Instead of just kind of going to watch that on Sunday and then doing my own study on throughout the week, I've been like deep diving on that. So I've been going through Ephesians and kind of wrapping that up. And so whatever the next book is, kind of keep doing a deep dive throughout the week. I guess relationally, maybe is another topic, is that my wife and I will become in the fall, Lord willing, empty nesters. And so our youngest goes off to college. So we want to start doing some stuff together, like perhaps a doubles pickleball kind of thing.
Ooh.
I don't know if that
that sounds fun.
Yeah. So that's kind of a thought out there. I think the last one probably would be throughout the year to really focus on gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of hit home right before Christmas. Our youngest was in an accident, and praise the Lord, he's fine. I walked away from it, but both cars were totaled. But I was really frustrated and upset that we have to deal with this over the holidays, and talking to insurance, on Christmas Eve, and all this stuff that goes with it. But when I began to think, but we're not at the hospital celebrating over Christmas, it's just like this a totally different attitude adjustment. And so kind of just that idea of throughout this year, man, just kind of try and find what do they call it? The silver lining, I guess, but and focus on the gratitude and the many blessings of the Lord through the world we live in. So
absolutely. And I will say, I don't think it's a bad habit to start books. I think it's a good habit.
It's a habit,
but it's also a good habit to finish them, right?
That is. We just need to add more good habits.
Both things are true.
Yeah. What about you, Corey? To share some of yours.
Yeah. So I love planning for New Year's, like each New Year. I'm saying that, plural. Last year, because of us starting the business and then, all of it was a lot, right? Like just a lot of things going on. My goal was just to survive and make sure that I, did all the things I needed to do. And
Don't get fired.
Yeah, this year, it's kind of like, I kind of know the rhythm and cadence of
the goal still is to survive, though, right?
Yeah. But the rhythm and cadence is a little bit more predictable, and so I always like to sit down and just kind of map out in each area of my life, whether it be professional, personal, financial, spiritual. And so 12 books this year is one a month for all you math nerds out there.
Not all at once.
Not all at once.
One at a time.
Yeah, one book a month. And read those, and just I just want to accomplish that. I didn't read nearly enough last year consistently, and
I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the January book?
Essential Truths of the Christian Faith by R.C. Sproul.
All right,
so nice little plug there.
Do you have like a list you've already kind of doctored up? Nice.
Yeah, the first quarter I've got a list of what I'm going to read, and then always.
Are you taking recommendations?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll talk after.
Yeah, talk
after
to me after
session.
the pod. So that is a big one.
He's going to suggest some self-improvement books.
How to win friends and influence others.
I'll take it. The other thing was I want to spend more intentional time with each of my kids individually. So every month I've got a day that I take one of my kids, and I've got 4 children for those of you who don't know. So one day a month I take one kid and we do whatever they want to do. So whether it be go downtown and eat ice cream or, whatever it is, I'm doing that, implementing that. And that's, the 4th Monday of each month, and then a date night every month on the calendar with my wife. So those are kind of the big rocks I'm pushing this year. Yeah, I'm excited about it and looking forward to trying to keep all those resolutions. And I'm sure many of our listeners are as well. And so with that, just wanted to say a couple words. One, we wish you a very happy and healthy new year. And if there are financial resolutions you have in 2026, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Sojourn Wealth Management Podcast. This is a friendly reminder that all content in this podcast is intended for educational purposes alone. Nothing in this episode should be treated as tax, legal, or investment advice. We encourage you to consult your financial professional for any of those needs. Securities offered through Kestra Investment Services LLC, Kestra IS, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Kestra Advisory Services LLC, Kestra AS, an affiliate of Kestra IS. Kestra IS or Kestra AS are not affiliated with Sojourn Wealth Management.